do you ever feel like you mess up? You mess up all the time. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you just kind of feel like there's no progress whatsoever. You just keep being stuck. You keep making the same mistake over again. You don't really know what to do, and you feel like a bad person. Maybe you keep doing something that's bad all the time, and you feel just like a terrible person. You feel really bad. You don't feel like anyone's going to appreciate you or see you for you, because they're going to see you for your wrongs, kind of the deal. Or your past made you look at yourself as a bad light, and you feel like other people are going to see you as a bad light now. And that could be true in most cases, but I will tell you this, and this is what I believe for everybody, is that you're a work in progress. WIP. So if you don't know what WIP means, it's usually an art term. I'd say usually a lot of people just say whips. Like, this is a whip kind of the deal. Not like a whip where you go, nothing like that. Listen, that's some crazy crud. All right, listen, I ain't a big fan of whips. All right, but I'm a big fan of WIPs, WIPs, which are works in progress. Everybody is a work in progress. Nobody is perfect. Don't try to look for perfection in things. A lot of the times people just want to be perfect. They want to be perfect because that's what they think is good. And a lot of the times they just keep thinking, oh, if I can just do this right, if I can just do this right, I will be good. I will be something amazing. I will be perfect. I'll be good. I'll be a good person. But in reality, guess what? You can't be perfect. It's not possible. We're works in progress. That's what you need to see yourself as. A lot of the times, I've had many conversations with people, right? Is that they feel like a bad person because of the bad they've done. And that's not the case. Listen, everybody has this ability to move and change who they are, especially if they're changing and moving forward. You're a work in progress if you're trying to change yourself from doing the bad that you've kept doing. You shouldn't let that be a label on you. See, a lot of the times people will say, I'm a bad person because of all this I've done. They've already labeled themselves as bad. But in my opinion, and this is just how I think, what you say about yourself like that really brings you out and says, well, your mentality on it. So are you going to look at yourself as a bad person? You're probably going to be more likely to do bad things because you feel like you're a bad person. That's why you have to change your wording. The way you talked about yourself is what you need to do. If you label yourself as a work in progress, it's not like going down. It's your mind pushes you forward. This is just my experience and the way I speak with my life, but it was really cool. I listened to my pastor on a church Sunday long time ago. And he would always say, it's a process. And it is. It's always a process. Life is a process, okay? I know you look at yourself and you're thinking, man, I keep screwing up. I keep falling over myself. I can't do it. I can't go forward. And in reality, you can. It's your perception of if you can or not. If you see yourself as a work in progress, you're more than likely going to move forward as long as you're changing the things about you. If you keep seeing yourself as a bad person, you're going to keep thinking you're a bad person and then more likely to do bad things. And listen, all right, everyone has their own problems and struggles in life. It's not like other people are like, oh, they're going to look at you and think, oh, this person's really bad. This person's a bad person. And yes, there are hypocrites out there who will come out here and try to get you messed up, all that kind of stuff, all right? But listen, we're all works in progress. We're all a masterpiece, right? But we're working our ways to become that masterpiece, I like to believe in my heart, and the way I believe is that, God made us masterpieces, We are masterpieces for a reason. Now, obviously, we're not the perfect embodiment of a human being or, of Jesus, for example. But, we can't be Jesus. We can be parts of that and be having good in certain areas of that. And that's what I think's pretty powerful, We can make a whole body of someone who could be perfect with people who are like that, I guess. No, we're not talking like some Avengers thing. That'd be really cool, though. Imagine that. Avengers of people who are good in certain aspects, and then they come together and help make the world better. Honestly, I think that would be a really cool set of Avengers, in my opinion. But we're works in progress. When maybe you see yourself drawing art and you're not done. You don't pick up on what you finish. I like that idea, too, is maybe you feel like you're not finishing what you started. You know, a lot of the time, and it's good to finish what you started. It just depends on situations. You know, if you're trying to find where your heart needs to go, right, then you need to follow it, but know the right thing that you have. You know, everyone has their own sets and goals and their dreams in their hearts, right? And you have to apply, and sometimes just something awakens you in your heart, and it's like, man, I have to apply a lot to this because this is where I need to go. This is where I want to be. And that's what you need to find. You know, finding that life out, finding what you want in life is also a work in progress. You need to, you know, it's a thing that develops over time. You know, there's a lot of things you want to be when you're younger, kind of the deal, right? So I'll use me as an example. I used to want to be an astronaut. Then I got scared when I found out the astronauts sometimes died from rocket explosions. And I kind of just threw myself away from it. I still love space, but I don't want to be an astronaut anymore. So then I moved over to, well, I used to be wanting to play baseball before that. And then I moved into different aspects of life. And then I moved into another aspect of life where I wanted to play the saxophone. Oh man, I still have my saxophone. I love saxophone. I need to get back into it. And I wanted to be a professional saxophone player because it was really cool. I wanted to be like Kenny G, you know. And then I moved on further in life and I was like, man, I don't really want to do this. And then I wanted to be a voice actor, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, let's be a voice actor. And then now I'm doing this and I'm doing a podcast and streaming, you know, all those dreams and goals. Literally, so many of them. And I'm still trying to figure out fully what I have to do with my life, you know? It's a work in progress. Don't sit there and think, oh man, I'll never figure out what I want to do. If you keep thinking that, you're never going to find out what you want to do in life. It's a work in progress, you know? Just like I mentioned in worry. I love worry so much because I brought up a good concept in worry, and that's a Zeppelin doesn't get built in a day. You can't figure out your whole magnitude of your dream or what you're capable of in a day. Now, don't get me wrong, you can find out that you have great potential in you, and there's a lot of potential in you. You know, I talked to somebody, and I'm not going to go into full detail, but I talked to somebody who I was really close with, and they told me that they wanted to do better. They drank alcohol a lot, so they threw up. They were lost, basically. They felt horrible, and they were like, you know what? I've got to do better. I can't stay like this. And I'm like, yes. And I sat there. I was excited. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is awesome. I was happy and excited. I don't talk to them anymore for reasons that I can't really explain, and I won't make that public. But it's a really powerful thing. And I was happy. I was happy to be a push in the right direction at that last moment. And, you know, I told them, I said, listen, I said, don't ever see yourself as a bad person. And this is what I'm telling you. Don't ever see yourself as a bad person. See yourself as a work in progress. You know, keep working in yourself to keep moving forward and get closer to God or closer to being a better person. You know, either or, it fits real well. It helps make the world a better place when you're doing that too. And when other people see that, they're like, wow, you know, it helps them realize that too. You know, everybody has this great potential inside of them, right? And they can do so much with it, but they're pretty much sleeping on it, you know? Once you start walking and knowing that potential and waking it more, your work in progress starts moving and moving forward, you know? Now, don't get me wrong, like I mentioned in Waterfall, if you're sitting still not doing anything with your life, then you're most likely not being that work in progress. You're kind of like sitting there doing nothing. A work in progress is any step it takes to move forward. You need to make steps to move forward, even if they're baby steps. Listen, I had some friends that, you know, taking these baby steps and then they're like, boom, you know what? I'm going to start doing big leaps. And I'm like, oh, yes, I love that. It's so cool. It's such a cool thing, man, when someone really sees their potential or like that. So, you know, it's just, man, it's just awesome. You could even say WIP could be working potential. Working your potential, you know? Get that potential out there. Everyone has so much potential in their life, but they don't really awaken it. They just sit there and let it go. And you need to really do that. And there was a really cool thing. Oh, I can't remember who said this. Somebody said this, and I loved it. It was online. I can't remember. It was a video or something like that. Somebody said that their grandmother used to say that you shouldn't waste your potential, and you don't want wasted potential written on your gravestone. And I'm like, ooh, that was so powerful. I was like, oh man, I loved it. I was like, man, that really got me a kick in the glutes, I'll tell you, homies. But yeah, in reality, it's like, you know, do you want wasted potential written on your gravestone? You know, a lot of the times people have this draining personality, or not drain. I shouldn't say draining, but like this zombified personality where they don't want to do a lot with their life. And I encourage you to do more with your life. Break a habit. Listen, here's the thing. We have a lot of bad habits in life, and there's a lot of habits that you probably need to be broken. All right. Like, you can look at yourself and say, all right, I need to break this habit so I can be more in progress, working into this progress. Now, breaking a habit's not easy, but if you work yourself into trying to break that habit, eventually it will stop. You have to rewire your brain, but it's because your brain's used to these certain patterns, right? So if you keep allowing your brain to have these certain patterns and doing that and not give it something to change, and that's why it's like 21 days to break a habit. You may have to break that habit through a lot of trial and error. And that's the thing too. Being a work in progress means trial and error. You're going to mess up, and that's going to happen. You might slip up. You might get back into your habit. You might get back into doing something you said you weren't going to do. You mess up. It's important to pick yourself up and say, I'm a work in progress. We need to keep moving forward. Because if you keep lingering on the fact that you messed up, then that's less potential that you're wasting, or there's more potential you're wasting right there, because you're mulking and sulking about that you messed up, that you aren't moving forward, and you're not making that stance, that change to move forward. You know what I mean? That's important. You need to realize that you need to move forward. If you mess up, all right, listen, you get up, move forward. I love this too. I think I mentioned this in a WhizDum Wednesday. It's been a while, but if you get tripped on the street, right? Are you just gonna lay there flat on your face on the concrete, just sitting there, just doing nothing, just laying there? Or are you gonna get up and move forward and start walking forward? Maybe you trip on a pothole. Maybe someone doesn't trip you, but you get tripped on a pothole. Are you gonna just sit there, or are you gonna move up and start moving again? It's really important. You need to move forward, because if you keep sitting still, you're not moving forward. All right, you're not getting closer to God. You're not getting closer to being that person you want to be, because guess what? You keep falling over. And another mentality I really love is it inspires me a lot. A lot of times we may not even get to where we want to be, and that's the case in life. A lot of the times we get to a place and we're like, man, I'm not where I want to be. But I encourage you to look back and say, hey, you know what? I'm not where I was. Because imagine, you started walking further more. I can look back in my life and look at middle school and first half of high school, and I can just look at myself and say, man, I cannot believe such a dark personality and mindset got changed the way it did because of how much I've came from. So look back at yourself, but not like in the way of like walking back, but look back and say, man, I'm not where I was. That's the important thing. You're probably not going to be where you want to be, but you're not where you were. And that's important. That's important to know about yourself. When it comes to changing and becoming something better, you've got to move forward. You can do it, by the way, as well. All right, listen. You have that potential. You just need to keep it rolling. Keep that potential rolling and going. You can keep on going, but you have to see that in yourself. People can pull some weights for you, but you have to pull the maximum weight for the most part. Even when it comes to God, I see it as God's probably pulling 50% of the weight, but you got to do the other half. It's a two-way street with that, God can save you and, make you happier and push things out of the way for you, but guess what? If you're not pulling your own weight, he can clear a path, but if you aren't walking forward on the path, it's wasted potential. I like that. There can be a path that's cleared, and then it can be cleared 50%, but you got to pull the other 50% of your weight too. And I believe that applies to a lot of relationship problems as well. Maybe not like boyfriend, girlfriend, but like family, anything like that, anything of the sort. You can apply that to everything. You got to pull your own weight to it. If you don't do anything for a while, then you're basically not being a work in progress. A work in progress is slight movement, moving forward. Baby steps can still count, and so can big leaps. Big leaps are good to make. It's a big sign of bravery and a sign of not being scared, in a way. Big sign of bravery and courageousness. I've looked up the meaning of bravery and courageousness, and they're similarly the same. But I will say this is that like I've seen a lot of people saying courage and courageousness is like the same thing as bravery, but courage is like having the strength to not be scared, but to do right in that aspect of being scared. You know what I mean? So I think that's important to know. Well, I mean, I looked up the definitions for both of them, and it turns out they're both the same thing, apparently. I don't know. I think it's a little odd. I think one goes into detail. So I like the idea of thinking courage is not being scared to do what's right. And so, it just takes a lot of stuff. And it takes a lot of stuff to really say, hey, I've got to change. That's a lot of bravery in and of itself. Bravery and courageousness is like, hey, I have to change. The first part of being that work in progress is you got to be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. That is important. If you are not honest with yourself, that is one of the main things that's going to cripple you. Because a lot of the times people want to do better, but they aren't honest with themselves. I've seen so many people try to admit to things they've done wrong, but not admit it in the right kind of way, or at least right their wrongs. A lot of times people will be half right and half wrong. Like they'll say a little bit of a true statement, but not be fully honest with what they've done. And here's the thing that I believe in life. If you aren't fully honest with yourself and opening up yourself and saying, yes, I did all these things wrong, and I will tell you I'm going to do better, then you're not doing better. You're only doing a little bit to help uncover a little bit of your heart, but your full heart's not uncovered and you still hold on to that weight. When you're fully honest about yourself and saying, all right, I'm human. I've got my own problems. I do these things wrong, but I'm going to do better. That's a thing that rips off a lot of weight on your heart. It says, you know what? I can be honest with myself. I can not be scared of what people think of me because I'm being honest with me. Be that open book that says, hey, you know what? I'm this person, this is who I really am. There's nothing wrong with being who you really are, all right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's only wrong whenever you're doing yourself a disservice, when you're not fully honest about who you are. Sometimes people want to just be fake to help other people out, and that's not the case either. There's a great thing of lifting other people up, but if you're doing it while being fake about it, it hurts your heart. And it may hurt the other hearts of other people too, because then they're following a false fake, a false happiness around people, and it's insane. Be real, all right? I know there's a lot of influencers out there who aren't really honest. They aren't really honest with themselves. They'll encourage you and talk about things about life, but they won't talk about themselves and say, hey, I'm busted too, and that's where you get this connection with people, is that you have to admit you're busted. I mean, everybody's busted, or busted trying to get fixed. That's pretty much what it is, and a lot of the people think that they aren't busted, but they are. Everybody is imperfect. There is not a single soul in existence that was perfect and says, hey, you know what? Follow me, except for Jesus himself, or you could say God. All right, God can be like, yo, listen, the only way you're going to be perfect is if you were my son Jesus, and you're not. But I still treat you like my family because you are basically my child. And I'm like, oh, thank you, God. You're awesome and super cool. So I know it was random, but I liked it. I like it. There's a lot of things in life people don't get. Don't see yourself as perfect, and perfection is something you shouldn't strive to be. You can get close. I mean, it's okay to be close to be perfect, but don't do it to the point to where you destroy things about yourself, You're still a work in progress, and you'll probably be a work in progress till you die. That's just how it is. We're human. We're not perfect. I mean, listen, you think kids are born perfect? No. When kids are born, they're brats sometimes, and they're greedy, all right? Not all kids, but for the most part, kids are born greedy, and you got to teach them the right way of life. If we were born to be perfect, we would have been perfect at birth, all right? But we're not. We have to literally learn these things as we go in life. So as we go in life, we're just works in progress. Nobody knows all the answers, and if anyone claims to know all the answers, they don't. Nobody knows all the answers, but to me personally is God. And I see a lot of people just acting like they know the answers of life and to the existence. And here's the thing, is that our minds aren't able to comprehend existence. It's like if there was a vast existence thing, for example, there were so many things that you'd have to think about. Our minds cannot comprehend how big and massive existence would be. So that's why we have a big existence thing, is that at that point it's easier for me personally, and it's a lot better for me to just think, all right, God knows what he's doing. All right, God made the world and God made this. All right, it's easier for my mind to comprehend than this vast, gigantic thing of whoa, where do we all come from kind of stuff. Because then your mind gets all busted, and then you get this existential dread of where am I coming from, It happens like that. But no one knows all the answers. All right, everybody is a WIP, a work in progress. Everybody is. All right, some people sleep on their potential, and some people aren't always going to be works in progress. But I guarantee you, if you're walking forward, you're a work in progress. If you keep moving forward, you're a work in progress. If you're not doing anything in your life and you're just sitting there doing nothing, you can still be a work in progress, and you can still keep moving forward. But you have to make that stand to move forward yourself. That's what you need to do. Be that work in progress. There are people who will drag you down and try to tell you, hey, listen, don't be a work in progress. Just sit down here with me. It's real good with me here, man. Just sit down here with me. I don't want to do better than myself, but like, yeah, I want someone here to dwell in here with me. Join my darkness kind of the deal. Don't do that. Don't be around people like that. There's a lot of people who want to drag people down to their level and then just like engulf themselves with people to make themselves feel better. And that's not good. Stay away from those people. Those aren't works in progress. If anything, those are, what do we call them? They're WIDs, W-I-Ds, works in distress. That's what they are. And what they'll do is they'll try to take you down. They'll keep trying to take you down because, well, it makes them feel good. And they don't realize it themselves. Sometimes people don't even know they have that about them. So you have to really make sure that you're understanding about it. Not letting all these people in your life that are going to drag you down. Keep being that work in progress. Keep moving forward. If you keep moving backward, you're not being a work in progress. You're being a work in distress. I love that. That's such a cool concept. Came up with it right off the bat. I hope someone needs that, but I'm adding this one other thing into editing real quick. Regardless of what you think of like Ben Shapiro, for example, he came up with a cool concept after I was watching something. It says his dad told him this. Geniuses aren't necessarily a good thing. Well, they're good in certain aspects, but here's the thing. There's always going to be somebody better. So if you call somebody a genius, they may be just a genius in a certain field. Don't ever feel like someone's always better than you, because there's, we have different things that we are made for, okay? There's different things we're made for. Different things we're better at than other people. There can be one person who's so smart they know like a third of the entire world, but there's 2/3 they don't understand. And some of us may only know less than a 16th, But there's still some things that we know that others don't know. So it's like, you yourself, I'm talking to you right now. Your majestic face, you that's listening to this. You are different from the people that you're around. There's something about you that makes you very different from everyone else. Everybody's still a work in progress. You're a work in progress in different areas, and then so is everyone else. Do not see yourself as someone who can't do something because there's somebody out there better than you. Improve and do better. Do what you feel in your heart what you need to do within your field. Everyone has their own field in life that they want to do, that they have, that their heart booms for. Do not worry about what the auto mechanic person thinks, I mean, in certain situations, but don't worry about what they think about your stuff that you do. You're a genius in your own field. All right, there's always going to be someone smarter, so don't think you're the hot shot of the world. Listen. All right, there's a time where everyone's like tower falls. I guess you could say that. There's a time when just something crumbles. You need to realize in yourself that there's always going to be someone probably better, but do the best that you can do. Don't try to fight for a status or anything like that to become a better person, because a status does not make you better. Looking towards people to make you feel better does not make you better. Improve who you are. I felt like that was on my heart to say, and it was really cool that it got brought up to me. I was watching a video and I saw it and I was like, that's a cool concept. I like that. I like that a lot. So I just added a little bit to it. So I hope that helps anybody who needs that. That's pretty much all I have to say. Be the work in progress. You're a work in progress. If you're trying to do better and you keep falling on your face, it's because you're a work in progress. You need to find counter options. If something does not work, do something different. Break that cycle. I mentioned that in one of the WhizDum Wednesdays. Don't remember which one. Don't hurt me. All right, I only remember the main 3. But insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a new result. You can get out of it. You can be a work in progress. You can move forward. Break that cycle if you need to. If you're doing the same thing over and over again and keep getting the same result, move on to something else. That's the way I see it. And I was talking to our homie Vague, actually, Vague Vigilante. he was talking about a study, and I love the study. It's such a cool study. It's about willpower, and I'll bring this up in another willpower episode too. But like, willpower will drain you. If you think that you're gonna keep doing the same, like if you keep doing the same thing, you'll be more immune to it. That's not the case. It makes you more tired. You have to distract yourself off of doing something else. To avoid an addiction, stuff like that. There was a cool concept he mentioned. It was like they let a marshmallow in the room, right? And it was filled with kids, and they said, all right, we'll be back in 30 minutes, and if you don't eat the marshmallow, we'll bring more marshmallows. And they left for more than 30 minutes, and kids were more and more tempted to eat it because they were staring at it, and they thought, oh, if I stare at it longer, I can force myself not to. But you're still looking at it, right? But it turns out that the kids who were staring at it were more inclined to eat it than the kids who distracted themselves and didn't talk to themselves or distracted themselves from out looking at it. So just stop looking at the same situation. Create a different situation to do better in. Be the work in progress. You're a work in progress. I'll bring up the kid thing and later in the willpower, because there's going to be one called willpower as well. But I think that's all I have to say today. I don't necessarily have a recap, but my main recap is just this. You're not a bad person. You're a work in progress. If you're moving forward trying to fix the wrongs you're doing, you're a work in progress. All right, everyone will make mistakes at some point. You're a work in progress. We're masterpieces, but we're a work in progress. You need to keep moving forward. When you trip on a pothole, are you going to sit there and just, on the street? Are you going to sit there on the street just with your face into the ground? No. You're more than likely going to get up and move forward. So do that with your life and your heart. Move forward in your life. That's all I have to say today. You're a work in progress. You're not a bad person. Relabel yourself. Work in progress. It's a process. Keep moving forward. I hope you all enjoyed that mini WhizDum Wednesday. I wouldn't say mini. You could technically say it's a mini because it's only been like 26 minutes basically. Maybe a little less than that. It just depends. But yeah, it's been less than 30 minutes. Are you surprised? I'm surprised myself. It's crazy. I know I did say I was going to do one about celebration days today, but I just felt like someone needs to know that they're a work in progress. So I'm not going to do anything about celebration days. I feel like I should wait on that for a while. I read a book recently, and I'll probably bring this up in Weeds, is that like, am I going to be a very draining person or a very refreshing person? And I feel like if I keep making stuff about the world and how bad the world is, I'm going to be a draining person. And I don't want to be a draining person. I want to be someone who's refreshing to people. And so I'm not going to constantly post bad things. Oh, I wouldn't say bad things, but calling out the bad things in the world, because then you're only going to see bad things in life. So I hope this is an uplifting episode for anybody who needs this and needs to know that you are a work in progress, okay? No one's going to take that from you, all right? If anyone doesn't agree with you or they think you're a terrible person just because of the things you've done, just let them know you're a work in progress and you're trying to do better. That's it. That's all you got to do. Don't get into arguments. All right, getting into arguments is how they get you, grabbed down, But yeah, that's why I feel like I have to tell y'all. But I got Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and I hope you can check those out, and TikTok as well. I do post some stuff on there, and on TikTok, I try to do little mini wisdom segments just to help people out, kind of the deal. Little small ones to give some, a summary of the WhizDum Wednesdays if possible, because some people probably don't want to sit around for like 20 minutes listening to a guy talk about it, but you never know. And I've also got it on Spotify and SoundCloud. I don't have it paid for fully yet. I might just buy one membership to post it all on SoundCloud and Spotify. I'm not sure yet. We'll just have to see. But I'm hoping it works that way. But anyway, I also have YouTube. I got YouTube as well. YouTube's where I post all my WhizDum Wednesdays and some highlights from my Twitch channel as well. All my WhizDum Wednesdays are updated on YouTube. If you want to see them, they're on YouTube for sure. I have a whole playlist called WhizDum Wednesday, and it's really cool. WHIZDUM Wednesday. And this is the newest one, so you'll see WIP on there. And I think there's about over 30 of them now, so that's pretty cool. And we're hitting about a year, actually, on WhizDum Wednesday. I'll have to actually check that out real quick. Let me check that real quick. Okay, we'll be hitting a year for WhizDum Wednesday next month, so that's really cool. I'm excited for that. So I might have to talk about it or something like that. We'll talk about it. It's on May 20th, 2020, I think. Is it May 20, 2020? That'd be funny. It is May 20, 2020. That's funny. That's funny. Oh man, it's triple 20s. But so basically, I've been posting them for a while. It's almost been a year, and it's crazy. I haven't posted a lot of them. They're like bi-weekly now, but I've enjoyed making them, and I hope that they've been useful for everybody, you know? So if you want to see all of them, they're on YouTube for sure. It's Sir Derpy Creeper. You can look me up and find me up on there, WHIZDUM Wednesday. It's definitely up there for sure. And I've got Twitch. Twitch is where I mainly make content on Twitch now. I do lives, and I also post some highlights on my YouTube channel about my Twitch streams. They're really fun and super awesome, really cool. I even talk about it when I do a WhizDum Wednesday on Twitch, on my Twitch stream. I talk about it with chat a little bit and have a good conversation afterwards as well. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's okay, you know? Everyone has different things in life and that they're going through, so I'm hoping this helps somebody that's going through something in their life. And if you ever want to talk to me live, I'm always live Mondays and Wednesdays for sure. Everything else is just like random. And Tuesdays, I'm typically not live on those days. Very rarely would I be live on a Tuesday. But I hope that all was enjoyable for you all. And that's pretty much all I gotta say. I hope you all have a good rest of the week. I hope you had a good WhizDum Wednesday today. It's a short one too. It's a kind of shorter than usual, so that's pretty cool. And remember, you're a work in progress. You're not a bad person. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Remember that. Remember, I'm gonna yell at you every time, all right? Keep moving forward. You're a work in progress. Stop beating yourself up and telling yourself you're a bad person when you're not. If you're trying to do better and you're doing better, guess what? That means you're a work in progress, all right? Even if you're failing more than once, doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you're a work in progress. You just got to find the right thing that fits. Keep moving forward. Till next WhizDum Wednesday, I'll see you around. Thank you. Have a good week.